Inside Stuff with Martins Oloja today is on the Supreme Court. And I mean, Supreme Court should be Supreme Court indeed. I mean, before some of the senior ministers in the Temple of Justice desecrate the temple, let us cry aloud that they cannot be talking about strong institutions in Nigeria. They cannot be talking about reform of our institutions while they seek to desecrate such institutions. It is not allowed. I am saying this in respect of what is happening and what happened this week when the Supreme Court struck out a petition seeking the Supreme Court to reverse itself on the verdict it had given on Bayelsa State. And then they fined some senior advocates of Nigeria because of what they call the frivolity and wasting of the time of the Supreme Court. What we are saying is this: it is not because we like Supreme Court justices or because we support them. We are talking about this thing because of the need to preserve our institutions to serve us and to serve democracy, to serve our sovereignty. It is not about Supreme Court justices. I personally do not like the way Supreme Court has been acting. I don't like, and I talked about it on Inside Stuff, when the Court of Appeal and even the NJC, National Judicial Council, abandoned the then Chief Justice of the Federation, Honorable Justice Walter Ononge, when he had a problem with the Code of Conduct Tribunal, an administrative tribunal for that matter, in the office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation. They removed him, they removed Justice Ononge without complying with the provisions of the Constitution for removing the Chief Justice of Nigeria. Not many of these senior advocates of Nigeria stood for the law. They didn't allow the law to rule. He was removed like that. I complained about it. Not many people were complaining about this. So it's not because of the liking I have for the Chief Justices and Supreme Court, but we are talking about the Supreme Court of Nigeria. We have a responsibility to preserve our institutions because our institutions are inherently weak. The National Assembly is user-friendly and doesn't appear to be independent at the moment. The police force is not there for internal security to serve us. The authorities in Nigeria always call out the army to do internal security job that the police should be doing for us. The Federal Character Commission, for instance, that ought to have 37 commissioners to preserve a section of the law which services our own cohesion as a nation. Federal Character Commission. All the commissioners have retired, remaining only one who is functioning. How can that one be? The chairman of the last chairman of the commission there was in 2011. 2011, when Professor Abdurrahman Oba was there. Since he left, there has been no substantive chairman of the Federal Character Commission. The chairman now is acting. The head of the civil service of the Federation, he has been acting for almost a year. There are so many weak institutions. Even the National Security Advisor is complaining about management of security establishment in Nigeria. Everybody is complaining about weak institutions. I think our lawyers, our senior citizens should not join forces to weaken our institutions at this moment. We all have a responsibility. If our institutions are weak and our men who are in power are strong, that is not good for us. And I think we should not destroy the Supreme Court of Nigeria. Let it be supreme. Let people not bring litigation to reverse itself. Section 235 of the Constitution makes its decision final. Yes, they have been talking of instances. There are only very few instances where common law is practiced for the Supreme Court to review its decision, not political decisions like this. If they review their decisions will no longer be decisions, and Supreme Court will no longer be supreme as our Constitution has made it to be. And I think what the senior advocates of Nigeria, the senior ministers in the Temple of Justice should be doing is advocating reform of that system, as in the United States, where they have regional Supreme Courts. As a senior advocate of Nigeria, Festus Keyamo, advocated while he was being screened for the ministerial position. Now, what do you think about this? Join the conversation, share your views in the comment section. This is Inside Stuff with Martins Oloja, The Guardian, Nigeria.